How's your new guys? So I finally shaved today. It was good. It actually turns out when you actually have hair in your face, your shaver works better. Still took a long time to shave with that new shaver. So today is Thursday, February 15th. I knew that today I wanted to watch the Xbox thing, and it was well, it was interesting. So what I did this time, I watched the entire show. I actually took notes on things that I thought would be fascinating to talk about. So I'm gonna do, instead of watching me. I have this shirt such a long time. This is a Borat shirt. Got in Ocean City. Paid a lot so it didn't. So I got something covered up where the image wouldn't go away. Anyway, so I'm going to do something different where I just show you the stuff I wrote down. And then I'm going to talk about the things, I guess, because I thought that would be fascinating, you know. You guys could talk about it if you want to. Give me your ideas and thoughts and feelings about it if you want to. And I'm sure you guys watch this. If you're looking at this, you're interested in Xbox. So, you know. Put in whatever you want to, man. And I this here. You don't want to look at that. I did an Xbox thing, and I did it differently this time than I normally do. I don't make a PDF presentation. So I would chat about the key point. I mean, I wrote down certain things. Okay, so they continuously brought up Activision, Blizzard, and exclusivity. Okay, I mean that's good. You have games on your system that are exclusive. I guess that would be the reason people would want to buy your system versus other game systems, you know. So I thought, okay, but they brought it up again and again. That's all. Okay, we understand. Okay, so he said we made the decision. We are going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games. Now, can you see that being true? Why did he stress 4 games? Doesn't make any sense. So you're telling me all the games that are coming out on Xbox, all the new games, and all the games that are out, 4 of them, that's it. They're only releasing 4. It makes no friggin' sense at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. I thought that was odd. So, no change to the fundamental exclusive strategy. Now, that's going to be important later on in the thing here. No change to the fundamental. That doesn't mean, if he said no change to the exclusive strategy, he says to the fundamental. So what exactly do we take that to mean? We're making these decisions for some specific reasons, yet he did not say what the specific reasons were. Could it be because their system's selling like a shit, motherfucker? So, I mean, I thought that was kind of odd. I mean, that's a weird thing to say, you know, because all you're going to do is make people want to know why. We make every decision with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. I got to tell you, the Xbox seems fucked. I have an Xbox, and I have every Xbox system. I've seen, actually, a couple years they came out with 2. I only got the 1, but I haven't played it all because there's no games for it that I want, you know? Or I can use Gamepass. So I thought this was an interesting thing to say because it doesn't seem to be working very well, you know? So, okay, growing platform. Our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can, always looking to learn as a leadership team. So this is just a bunch of bullshit to say we're a leadership team and we're in the head, which is obviously bullshit. So, first of all, how's their platform growing? It seems they're not doing well. It's the same kind of thing you just said. Their games aren't performing well because they don't have really any good games that are exclusive. Building the best platform for creators. Well, again, seems like there's a bunch of systems out and people are making games for all of them, so wouldn't seem as if you're doing that well. Reaching as many players as we can. Again, the thing for that to me would say cell phones, because I mean, way more people have cell phones that are going to want to pay for an Xbox. So I thought that was, always looking to learn, I thought that was fascinating. They're not going to name the games. And then, to say they're not going to name the 4 games that are coming, they really blame the game teams, saying, I don't remember exactly why, but they blame the teams, saying, I think they said they're working on the games, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I thought that was kind of an asshole thing to do. So you have companies making games for your system, working hard to make games to make people happy, and you're going to blame them for the reason you're not going to name the games. So that was a total dickhead thing to do. So he says not Starfield or Indiana Jones. Ooh. First of all, Starfield's fucking awful. If you play Starfield, After about an hour and a half running around collecting shit and doing absolutely nothing with no fucking dialogue and no action and nothing at all to do, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not going to be sitting in a corner looking at the fucking wall. So I got sick of that shit quick. Now, Indiana Jones could be good, but what if it's a failure? It's got to kind of suck for them, innit? Okay, this is a lot of stuff. They bring up long-term health of Xbox again. So they kept saying the long-term health of Xbox. You can say it as much as you want, it doesn't mean it's working. Growing platform again. How is their platform growing? It doesn't seem. It seems like Xbox is selling least amount now they've ever sold, reaching more players. Well, that's not going to happen through an Xbox, though, is it? Games having as much success as possible. Again, I don't. If you want a game to have success, you're not going to release it on just one thing. You're going to let it go out to a bunch of people. Next 10 to 15 years, the exclusive will be a smaller part of gaming. So that right there kills off so much of the things that he said because he continuously talked about exclusives. Why are you going to have a presentation where you talk about exclusivity if you're only going to go on to say it's going to be less and less important to gaming? You know what I mean? Why? Why do that? You just kind of walked all over what you've been saying. So then he goes back to question on 4 games, which I thought, okay, I guess that was his way to take control of the whole thing. Okay, we looked at games that are over a year old and been on Xbox and PC for a while. So there again, he's underplaying the importance, significance, and success of the games, while at the same time trying to make them look like they've been out on Xbox and PC, making them seem important for how long they've been out on those systems. So that kind of seems stupid, doesn't it? So you're telling me the only games they're going to have come out on other platforms are games that have been on Xbox or PC for a long time. Who's going to give a shit? And then he says they've reached their full potential on the Xbox. So then, in Microsoft's mind, the only time they are ever going to have a game released on multiple systems is after they've gotten as much money from people as they can on Xbox and PC. That to me is a complete asshole, once again, a complete fucking asshole thing to say. I mean, that's real nice. Hey, yeah, we'll let you play our games on other systems, but only after we fucking completely drug it through the dirt for years and years. Just seems totally wrong to me. Okay? Brings up community-driven games multiple times. So, community. He's talking about a community, yet at the same time talking about Xbox, exclusivity, and then talking about how that's not going to be important. So, really, he just seems to be walking all over what he's saying, having no idea of what is going on in his mind, having no control over the meaning of what he's saying. At least that's what I thought. Then he said smaller games. Who's going to fucking care? If you're telling me I can play a small little indie game on Xbox, that's cool. I mean, and then if I can play it on PlayStation, who gives a shit? If I have it on Xbox and play it, why do I care? If I want to play a small indie game, I'm going to get one for my cell phone that I can get for $1.99 or some shit, you know? I just don't understand why he said that. He was trying to, I think he was trying to minimize any importance he could and any significance in the games that are going multi-platform. Which again, seems kind of stupid. Because if you had it on your system first, how can you downplay it? Make it seem minimal, you know? You had it on your system. It was exclusively in your system, so if it wasn't good and it was an exclusive, doesn't that kind of kill the meaning of exclusivity in your own system and your own choices to have an exclusive game? Am I talking a lot fast? I'm sorry. I had an espresso thing today, but I thought it was regular coffee, so I had probably too much, so just work with me. Never really meant to be platform exclusives. So what the fuck does that mean? So were they an exclusive at first? If they weren't meant to be platform exclusives, why were they? You know? Again, he's downplaying the significance of Microsoft exclusives, which doesn't make any sense. We love supporting creative endeavors. So what does that say? And that to me is just meaningless. Obviously you do, but do you? You go out and keep buying a bunch of game companies. You're not supporting them, you're buying them. You know what I mean? It just didn't make any sense. We see an opportunity to include other platforms. So what the fuck does that mean? Opportunity to include other platforms. So then if that's the truth, first of all, He already said there's only 4 games coming. And he said they're minimal games, and they've been on our system for a long time. So, if you see an opportunity to include other platforms, why in the name of fuck are you downplaying it so much? That didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Invest in more games like that or others in our portfolio. So what the hell does that mean? Obviously, you want to invest. If you have success in a game, you want to invest in it. I don't understand that. Invest in more games like that or others in our portfolio. Okay, this didn't make any sense. Obviously, you want to invest in games. But if you're going to only invest in games that are going to be released on every system, then wouldn't you not be a game developer instead of a system? You know what I mean? Would you be more of a game studio or a place that sells game systems with exclusives, you know? To me, if your main thing is to invest in money to have games cross-platform, then your own system is meaningless. Just put your money making games, you know? Don't damage Xbox. It can grow our business using what other platforms have to help us with that. We're going to do... I read that fucked up. Don't damage Xbox. It can grow our business using what other platforms have to help us with that. We're going to do that. That is the story behind these 4 games. So, don't damage the Xbox. Grow your own business. But they're letting other platforms help them. So didn't they already say exclusivity is going to be important? So are they relying on following other platforms and releasing their games to other platforms for success? If that's true, they're fucked. And then he says the story behind these 4 games. So these 4 little games that have already worn out their time on Xbox, that is what they're going to do to not damage and help their business grow. Again, is the business Xbox itself, the console, or is the business gaming? Because if the business is gaming, then Xbox is fucked. I think this was wrong. I wrote this down wrong. I think he said interested story in introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. Hey, Donnie, what are you playing? I'm playing this great game on PlayStation, man. Oh, cool, let's go buy an Xbox. What the fuck's that going to do? Does that make any sense to anyone? So, you're going to put games that are popular on Xbox, on PlayStation, and maybe Nintendo. Why in the name of fuck, if I played on those systems, would I have any interest at all in then going out and spending $600 or $700 on the Xbox to play the same games? It makes no fucking sense. Does that make sense to anyone? To me, it's just like fucking going in a circle. I feel like I'm in a fucking psychiatrist's office. 4 games, no promise beyond that. So what he's saying is, there's more games coming, but we're fucking complete idiots and we're not going to tell you. Come on. No promise beyond that. That's stupid. I mean, what do we need? You and I, as people, and gamers, and I've been playing games since the late 90s, but I love games. What the fuck do we need that guy to promise us anything for? Who gives a fuck? I can get games on PlayStation or Nintendo, I can play them on my Mac, I can get them on my fucking cell phone. I don't need an Xbox at all. Xbox as a game system is absolutely meaningless at this point. So I thought that was completely fucking stupid. Don't take that as everything is coming. It's not. We're going to learn. Well, if we're going to learn, then first thing I would do is don't take that as everything is coming, and don't say it's not. Because if it does, you're going to look like a complete fucking idiot. We're going to learn. Certainly you said we're learning, because by saying we're going to learn, that would imply to me that they haven't yet begun learning. It simply means that eventually you're going to start learning. So that seemed completely fucking stupid to me. And then he said no change was with exclusivity. But didn't he already say that exclusives were going to be less important? So really, what he said earlier and this completely face each other out. Why do we care about exclusivity if in 10 or 15 years they're going to be meaningless? You know what I mean? It didn't make any fucking sense to me. Great games, which are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So what I take this is, what I see up here is Xbox is completely frickin', the word Xbox in this sentence is meaningless. If you can play it in the PC and in the cloud, why the fuck do you need an Xbox? If I can play in the cloud on my Mac or my PC, Xbox, I mean, the PC is always going to be better than an Xbox, so you can upgrade it, you know? Go get the most updated graphics card and put more memory in and all that. So the Xbox, in this sentence, the Xbox is the absolute least important thing. I mean, seriously, the cloud, if I can go on my cell phone, or my Mac, or my PC and play Xbox games, who fucking cares about an Xbox? I thought that was hilarious. It used to be the platform was the biggest thing, and games would kind of tuck in. Well, that wasn't really true though, is it? Hey, we're releasing a big system. Eventually we're going to have games. That wouldn't work. What you need is a system. They're all part of the... Again, though, what they were doing is they were minimizing and downplaying games. Why would you put down game companies? I mean, they're the ones working, you know? I understand it's hard to make a game system. But these people and the game companies, they're working so hard. So many different aspects of a game. So we can have fun and have a reason to buy the console. So, to me, games are... I mean, you can't have games without a system. But the most important part of having a game system are the games released on it. You know, otherwise you just have a fucking big, expensive-ass piece of plastic. So that was pretty fucking stupid. Today, big games can be bigger than any one platform. So then again, isn't that kind of undermining Xbox, what he's saying? Games can be bigger than any one platform. Yet, in the same time, the same video, he talked about exclusivity is going to be important. So now he's saying it doesn't matter about a platform. Games are bigger. So again, is Microsoft going to be a game developer, or are they going to release consoles? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Completely goes against what he's been saying. All of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Okay? All of our games will go on Xbox Gamepass on day one. Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. That's what they said. I don't understand. Did they mean to say that? So are you telling me Game Pass won't be available on cell phones or on my Mac anymore? I mean, if that's the truth, I'm just not going to play Xbox games. I don't know if that's what they meant to say, but that's exactly... I wrote it down exactly as they said it. And then again, so they're saying all the games will be available on the platform. All the games will be on Game Pass. So isn't that the same thing? If I can get the newest game on release day on Game Pass, why the fuck would I pay for the game? Does it make any sense? But then only on Xbox, it doesn't make any sense. Because then they were saying how they were downplaying the importance of consoles, any one console, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, is that it? Oh no, I'm not done yet. Hang on, let me see. Okay, 1 second. Okay. We want to bring more of our games to more players. So therefore they're saying Xbox is important. We want to have games and release them on multiple devices. So therefore again, they're downplaying the importance of their own system, which at the same time they're trying to say exclusivity is important, while also at the same time downplaying the importance of exclusivity. It doesn't make any sense. Two big things, cross-play and cross-save. So what the fuck does that mean? You know what I'm saying? If I can play a game on any system, any console like that, anywhere, again, why would I fucking care about Xbox? I just don't understand that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Now all of our games have that. So then, why would you say not all of our games have that? If you want to hype up this, then leave this part out of it. You know, it didn't make any sense to me. Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass. Okay. If it's coming to Game Pass, and if I can continue to play Game Pass on my Mac, then Xbox, again, this is completely undermining the game system that is the Xbox itself. Because the big thing here would be Activision and Blizzard and Game Pass. Where in this sentence do you see anything about Xbox? I don't see shit anywhere about Xbox. Buy a game once, play across Xbox and Windows. So therefore, Xbox is meaningless, because how many more people have Windows than Xbox? I think we're the only platform that does this. Really? How's that working out for your system? I mean, seriously. You can't make this shit up. People are going to play Xbox in multiple places, but that's not true. He said that though, but isn't it fascinating, that sentence? they're going to play Xbox in multiple places. What he wants to say, but is not saying, is people are going to play Game Pass in multiple places. Game Pass being played has absolutely fucking nothing to do with Xbox. If people can play Game Pass on their cell phone, on their PC, on their Mac, who the fuck cares about an Xbox? Again, they're undermining their own system, which they're trying to hype up. So that was kind of fucking stupid. It's not about one device. It's not about game service of a device. Rather, the devices that people want to play on. What the fuck does that mean? So, okay, it's not about one device, it's about multiple devices. Therefore, again, Xbox is meaningless. How many more people have a cell phone, or a PC, or a Mac, than have an Xbox? I mean, I don't know the numbers of that. Maybe more people have an Xbox, but I doubt it. It's not about the game service of the device. So aren't they kind of downplaying their own Xbox Live and their own Xbox Game Pass? Because they're both services. Rather, the devices that people want to play on. It just makes everything that they have meaningless. If that's, you know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that either. A healthy creator community on Xbox. Aren't they kind of buying big game companies? That seems real healthy. A healthy creator community in gaming. All up is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for. So what does that mean? Does that mean he's saying we should all be voting for games to be released on every system? Is that what I should take that to mean? I don't know. If that's true, then again, if that were true, then there's no way there could be 3 game systems in 10 years. It's just not going to be a need for it. You know what I mean? It's got to be the system that really stands out is the one people want. And it doesn't seem to me like it's Xbox, based on the fact that, from what I've read, PlayStation is beating Xbox 2-1. Now I understand, every time something new's released, it goes back and forth, but Xbox just keeps fucking themselves right in the ass with the damn game controller, man. I mean, the shit they're saying, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. If you look at Activision, Bethesda, and others, we're one of the biggest game publishers on PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch, one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. So what the fuck are they doing? Where in this sentence, again, is there any importance of the Xbox game system itself? I see a game publisher that bought a bunch of game companies, and I see them releasing on other systems, but where in this sentence does it make it seem like the Xbox game console is of any significance or importance to anyone? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Want to keep creating games millions of players love, and they can play those games where they want to go play. So that, again, if they want to play games where they can go play, then cell phones are going to beat the Xbox without any doubt. So they said this, and they made their own system useless. Once again, I've said it a lot. I'm just reading this. I haven't thought about it. I thought I would read it and think about it as I read it, you know. They're completely undermining their own system. I don't fucking, what? I mean, who the fuck writes this shit? Us as leaders in this business. Are they leaders? But what are they, in what field are they leaders? Do they see themselves as leaders? Because as far as games go, I wouldn't say they're leaders. I mean, maybe. They have cross-platform, but what they're doing, though, is buying a bunch of game companies. That doesn't make you leaders. It just makes you have a lot of money you're blowing on stuff. If it's in a console, that's obviously wrong because their consoles sound like shit. If it's in, you know what I mean? I don't understand. I don't really get what that meant. Except that we're going to have Xbox players on all kinds of devices. So there again, they use the word Xbox. If somebody has never had an Xbox and wants to play a game that's released on the Xbox on a cell phone or on Game Pass using their PC or their Mac or what the fuck ever, that doesn't make him Xbox player. It makes him a fucking gamer. So they need, I don't understand that. They need to stop they use keywords when they want to make things seem important, I guess. People that have never had an Xbox and play Xbox exclusives, quote unquote, using Game Pass are not an Xbox player. They're a gamer. They're a Game Pass player. So get the fucking wording right. 2023 was a great year for games. Some of the games will stand the test of time, but it's an industry that didn't really grow. So if you have an industry that didn't grow, how in the same time can you say you have games that will stand the test of time? Wouldn't you think games that stand the test of time would help your industry grow? Does that make sense to anyone? Makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. We had some job eliminated. Right, say that much? We had some job eliminations, but we're not alone in that. So now they want you to think that they're just like everyone else with job eliminations. Okay, who gives a shit if you're like everyone else? You should, I would have used this sentence to say, it's unfortunate that a lot of great companies who work hard to make games had to lay people off. It's a damn shame it had to happen, and none of us in the game industry like when things like this go down. That's what you should have said. Don't make it seem like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't think the way he worded that was right. Then one of them said, we're part of an industry that is growing. But just a bit ago, they said there was no growth. So how does that cancel out the part? You know what I mean? It's like backwards shit. If it didn't grow, how are they part of an industry that's growing? They just said it didn't grow. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. How do we make sure Xbox is growing? There they use the word growing again. Well, you already said shit wasn't growing. So I don't think it's the Xbox you want to... They keep using that word Xbox. What they're saying is, how do we make sure games grow? It's nothing to do with Xbox. And if you want to make the Xbox grow, you need a fuckload of exclusives. I don't give a shit what they say. If I can get a game on every system, do I really care what system I buy? Not at all. I'm just going to buy whatever... I'm going to buy the system I think is best, and I'm going to get the games on that. Or if I can play the games on my Mac or my PC, why the fuck would I need a game system? So, it didn't make any sense. History of the industry. Made games to accelerate hardware. So, is that really true, though? So you make games so people... I guess I'm an idiot, but I'm taking this to mean you make games so more people want to buy the systems. Okay, but then he's saying earlier, one of them said that exclusivity is going to be meaningless. You're going to be able to play on anything you want. So then, if that's the history of the industry, then the industry has completely failed now, because games are not going to accelerate hardware, because they're saying they want you to be able to play games on any system. So therefore, they're kind of saying their own hardware is meaningless. You guys following what I'm saying? Highest number of users on consoles, highest number of users on PC, highest number of users on cloud. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud. So does that not make it seem like the Xbox is... Again, are they not downplaying their own console? They're saying highest number of users on console. But does that mean that they have more people on their system than PlayStation and Nintendo do? When they say the highest number of users on PC, that makes the console meaningless. Highest number of users on the cloud, again, that makes both the Xbox and the PC meaningless. Because the cloud completely makes those two things useless as far as gaming comes. If you can play on a Mac or your phone, who gives a fuck about the other two? Double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud. Well, they sure the fuck didn't say that about Xbox, though, did they? That's fascinating, though, isn't it? Same developers can build the specs of their hardware, and we invest to make sure then... No, wow. Sorry, it's big, I don't have good vision. Game developers can build the specs of their hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that, the games are going to be great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed, is that the right word? Across any screen. So if I didn't read that right, I'm sorry. I can see the word game, the word game, and that's it. When I'm looking at this, it takes me a minute, but game developers can build specs of their hardware, and we invest to make sure then they know when they do that, the game's going to be great on our hardware. So they invest money in letting game companies know that games are going to be great on their system, but they're also going to be available on every system. Does that make any fucking sense? This is the fluff piece right here, because their own hardware is meaningless. Like, they're completely undermining their own system and their own hardware in this sentence. And if I read that fucked up, like I said, I can barely see that all at once, so you guys can read it and get your own interpretation of it. We have more creators building for Xbox than ever before. Why? And where the fuck are they? I mean, I have more girlfriends than anyone knows. They're just non-existent. What the fuck are they talking about? More creators building for Xbox than ever before. Who gives a flying fuck? If no one's buying your game console because you don't have any exclusives, where the fuck are all the freaking game creators? Now, again, though, if you follow from what I read earlier, he kept using Xbox when really the word he should have been using is Gamepass. Is he saying they're making games for Game Pass or just exclusive for Xbox? See, that's what you have to wonder, though. Because he keeps using the word Xbox to mean something other than the game console itself, so that's fascinating. We're focused on next gen of hardware. We really focused on bringing the largest technical leap you have ever seen in a hardware generation. Who gives a fuck? Again, holy shit. I mean, really, you cannot make this kind of fucking shit up. So, if they're going for the largest technical leap, get a fucking PC, people. Listen, I have a Mac Studio and I love it. The first thing I ever had, PC, I still remember it, man. When I was in 7th grade, my grandparents picked me up from school and said they had me a computer. I screamed so loud. It's an HP Pavilion and I still have it. And I said, I'm going to play games with it. My grandmother said, no, if you do that, I'm taking it back. And my grandfather whispered in my ear, you can play games if you want. And I shit you not, I had like a 7 gigabyte hard drive. I don't even think it was megabyte memory. I love that. I used to use IRC on that and AIM and oh man, I love that PC, man. It's when I first got my start and stuff. So, largest technical leap. So then, are they going to spend millions or billions of dollars making the fastest console you've ever seen? Hey, here, we got this fastest console. Exclusive, we have none games, but you can play them on our fast console. I tell you, sure, you can play them on the PC, or the Mac, or your cell phone, or the PlayStation, or the Nintendo, but look at all this hardware. That's what I'm hearing, people. I mean, come on. It's fucking ridiculous. Looking at Windows. Windows over decades maintains software compatibility with things that are built on. What the fuck does that mean? Windows over decades maintains software compatibility. So what the fuck? I don't know. I think that was the thing about playing games, old games on systems. What game can you get for Windows 95 that I can play on the newest Windows now? Maybe you could do it through an emulator are they saying here that they would release an emulator so you can play Xbox games on the newest Xbox? It doesn't make sense. I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me. When you're playing on Xbox, you're playing on a platform that you know the biggest games in the world are going to be on. Who fucking cares? Again, this doesn't make any sense. Because right now, if you look over the past 5 years, Xbox games, how many games have they had that are world famous games you can only get on their system, and that once you play it, you're like, wow, I'm so thankful I have an Xbox. You know what I mean? Are they talking about games you can play online? I don't really play games online, so I don't really get this part. And who gives a fuck? If you have a system and you're releasing the biggest game in the world, and then a month or two later you can get on any system, again, they're undermining their own system. Playing on a platform that is dedicated to you, is it? That's not true. If it was dedicated to me, I would be playing it instead of letting it sit here and gathering fucking dust. Now they say this they groom people to be dedicated to their systems. It's not systems being dedicated to people. The system is a mindless thing, you know what I'm saying? If they're going to release games on all platforms, why would their own platform be dedicated to you? What they're saying is they want games to be dedicated to you. And then you can get them on any platform. I'm so fucking confused at this point, you guys. When you're investing in Xbox, you're investing in somewhere that is dedicated to making games more successful and creators more successful. So Xbox, how is Xbox investing? How do they dedicate it making games that are more successful, or making games more successful? It doesn't make any sense. Now, the only way I could think Xbox, if they owned the rights to games, could make it more successful was to release them on multiple platforms. That's it, because Xbox isn't doing well. And again, creators more successful. So what they're doing is they're buying companies so they can have exclusive rights to them. So then the companies themselves are only going to be able to create games for one platform, which is currently failing. So that doesn't make any sense. One of the biggest development organizations in the industry, are they? So they're, again, one of the biggest development organizations. That has nothing to do with their Xbox console itself. It has to do with their game developing. The biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. 2024, we have more than 10 major releases. Seriously. So even this year, I'm going to get 10 games. Let's see. One of the biggest development organizations in the industry. The biggest games are going to continue to come to Xbox. So it doesn't say only Xbox, though, does it? No, it doesn't. I wrote down exactly the wording as that guy said it. So it doesn't say exclusive, though. So again, they're undermining their own system. Let me see something here. I don't think this is it. Is this it? That's it, you guys. So, I don't know what you guys think about all this, but I think it's a complete fuck up. I mean, seriously. What the fuck? I mean, what the hell? It was such a long... How long was the shoot? 30 minutes? It was the biggest waste of time I've ever seen. I mean, there were so many toes coming out of that guy's fucking mouth. It was such a fuck up. They didn't talk about anything important. They just went on and on and on about completely mindless, meaningless nothing. They made their console seem useless. They made themselves talk about how they make great games, but at the same time they talked about how games aren't going to be exclusive. They want people to be able to play games on any platform. So they made themselves seem more like a game developing company than a system creator. And then at the same time, though, they said how they're going to have biggest console leap as far as specs go. Why? If I can get their biggest games on a PC or a Mac, don't you think, no matter how good of an Xbox they release, as far as specs go, a PC is going to be better? I mean, even if not that second, how long is it going to be before PC can get 10 times faster than an Xbox? And you can continuously upgrade a PC or a Mac, I guess. I've never upgraded a Mac, but you know what I mean? It just makes everything... It was one of the biggest fuck-ups, man. I'm serious. I know I keep saying that, but... My God. I don't understand what is good. Don't they have people that can write shit for them? Is it just a bunch of teenagers writing shit while they sit in the back of their mama's Cadillac? I don't understand. Who the fuck wrote that stuff? It was some of the most mind-numbingly boring and ridiculous shit I've ever heard. Holy crap. I mean, seriously, I have an Xbox and I like Microsoft games. I haven't played them really. Only game I've played in the past years on my Xbox is... Let me see, where is it? Some game with a yellow case. But I can get it on any system. It is Cyberpunk. Is that what it is? Cyber War? Cyberpunk? I don't know, Cyber something. So I just thought it was hilarious, man. I mean, I really think Xbox is fucking doomed. If the Xbox game console is still being released in 10 years, I'll be shocked. Just based on the fact of, just on this one video, from what I've seen, it just, I don't know, man. I think they're fucked. And again, if I talk faster, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm kind of pumped up from having too much fucking espresso. I thought it was coffee. It was in a big bag, man. I didn't know. So, I guess just think about it. If you guys want to write anything, write it. If not, and you found it interesting, cool, man. If not, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you at least listened to it and had something to go in your mind, you know.